Um, so why are so many pastors falling in scandals? Um, Hello, everybody. My name is Marcelo. Welcome to Hebrews Theology, where we talk about sound doctrine one sip at a time. Today, we need to talk about something that has been happening too often, which is basically pastors falling in scandal, and it seems like every month that happens. Pastors are caught in adultery, financial fraud, whatever, abuse, other moral failures. You see often like mega church leaders, secret affairs exposed. I don't know, televangelists, scamming people, even in reformed circles now. Just give me a second. Give me just a moment. Hello. Can I have a medium cold brew, just black?
Medium cold brew black?
Yep. That's it.
Okay, first window, please.
Thank you. I'm at Dunkin's. So, this is not just happening in the prosperity gospel world, as I was saying. It's also happening in reformed circles, which makes it way worse. Now, I'll try in this video. I'll try to just say my opinion about why this is happening and how can we basically guard ourselves against these things. Okay, and I think the first thing is that many pastors are they're more like CEOs than pastors. You know what I mean? It's like they don't see themselves as, I don't know, humble servants of Christ, but they see themselves as entrepreneurs, as influencers, as people that will guide their flock to a better life. So they're thinking about growing their brand, they're thinking about growing their churches, building this platform so they can be seen. And very often they don't talk about the things that they need to talk about, Just give me a second. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. So, all right, let me get out of here. Because, all right. Okay. So these pastors, they are seeing themselves as, I don't know, businessmen instead of shepherds. I remember the text of 1 Peter 5 that says, shepherds need to just oversee, right? The flock. And it says there that pastors are not supposed to do that because of their financial goals or personal growth. A true pastor is called to be a shepherd, not a celebrity. So when a pastor becomes obsessed, and I think that's the word, with fame, with numbers, with influence, then for them to fall, I think it's a matter of time, Now, the second thing is lack of accountability. So many fallen pastors, they're not held accountable because they're so powerful and so they have this celebrity status and there's so much money involved that the people that they surround themselves with are a bunch of yes men. And they'll never call them out because they're also caring about their own personal gains. All the yes men they all have families. They need to provide for the families. So basically, they will just say yes so they can keep the money coming. And as Proverbs say, whenever there's no guidance, there's also no safety or something like that. So the Apostle Paul always had somebody with him to make him accountable of things, In all his missionary trips, there was always somebody with him to hold him accountable. And I don't think that's what many pastors do, and I believe that's also another reason for their demise. Okay. 3, I think there's a lot of pride as well. We all know pride is one of those sins that it's in Scripture since the beginning, and I think many pastors, they start with a good intention, but then after success, they kind of think, man, I built this. I'm special. It's because of me. I'm God's anointed. These rules, they don't apply to me because I am this special prophet of God. And that's a problem, Proverbs also says that, pride goes before destruction. So many pastors, they'll fall into sin because they were never really willing to admit their own weaknesses, their own mistakes. They stop relying on God's grace and rely on their charisma, on their skills. So, I think pride is a big reason as well. 4, I think many pastors are isolated. They live by themselves. It's like they don't have this good structure around them. Many of these pastors, they don't have other pastors overseeing them. It's not a plurality of elders in their churches. It's like they're calling the shots. So obviously they don't have many of them are stressed out, burned out. They are the ones who call the shots. So there's nobody for them to really talk to, because they're so successful and so big that if they expose something that they are struggling with, what the other person might think. So they feel that they're not really they cannot really talk about those things, and that's a big problem. I believe that that's also one of the reasons. A lot of stress, a lot of burnout. It's a lot of work. It's not easy being a pastor. And if these people they're really trying to be faithful pastors, then it's really not easy. But at the same time, they have to start looking to God and God's grace, and not to themselves. I think another reason is that they don't have a good theology of the holiness of God and a good theology of sin. Because if they did, then they would not mess with sin, They would not flirt with it. They would be running away from temptation. They would be just running away. They would confess daily. They would ask for God's forgiveness daily. So I remember the text of Matthew. I think Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount is saying, man, if your right eye is making you sin, take it away. It's better to go to heaven without an eye than to not go at all. So many pastors, they think, they just they think they're too strong, basically. So they let those small compromises start taking place. A little flirting here with a woman, a little pride here, a little financial gain here, and before they know it, they have already ruined their ministry, their families, and their reputation as well, and obviously hurt the church. Another reason, a more Calvinistic one, I guess, is that, they were never really called, these fallen pastors, or most of them, or some of them, I don't know, were never really called by God. They got into ministry for the wrong reasons. They got in for the money, for the fame, for the spotlight, for the financial security, for power, to have control over others. They like feeling superior, and Jesus always also says, beware of false teachers, because false shepherds, they are there like false prophets, right? They're wearing sheep's clothing, but they're actually wolves. And you're going to recognize their fruits you're going to recognize them by their fruits. So, these false teachers, Jesus is saying that, like, we got to beware of them, because they will rise in our churches, right? But they're not real sheep. They are wolves. I'm thinking, like, if we want to see less scandals, then we would ideally start choosing leaders based on what the Bible asks leaders to be. 1 Timothy, Titus, we would hold our leaders accountable. We would call out sin when we see it, and have a my gosh, this word is difficult. Plurality of elders that will shepherd the pastor. As a church, we would pray more for the leaders, and in that way, I think those things would be prudent to do, and they would probably be minimized. So, why are so many pastors falling into scandals? Because too many are pursuing fame instead of faithfulness. Too many are isolated. They live alone. They are not held accountable. They are too proud to see that they're just sinners. And, like, we don't need mega church pastors, man. We don't need famous Christians. We don't need, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take that back. We don't need famous Christians. It's good to have somebody with influence, that is a Christian, a real Christian, obviously. But we don't need famous pastors. Like, this is not the main goal of Christianity. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think you agree with me? I don't know. Let me know. See ya. Oh yeah, like, comment, share this video with your friends. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.